Hi guys, this is 𝘗𝘰𝘤. In this video, I will be discussing about Sphinx module. So, what is Sphinx? Sphinx is a Python module which is useful for generating auto documentation for Python modules. For example, like any module which you have written, any tool which you have written in Python for Maya. So you might have been documenting for each function. So what if you have to use same content in your website or documentation base? So no need of copying that documentation manually. There is a module called Sphinx. By using that, we can automate that process. So for example, 𝘭𝘂 is 𝘭𝘂 documentation was prepared that way, something like that. So if we can go and look at this documentation style, and yeah, we can see that module documentation, we can see it something like this. Yeah, all this documentation is possible to automatically generate with Sphinx module with a little effort. So yeah, the documentation related to Sphinx module, we can find it here. So some kind of configuration we need to set it up. It will be a bit easy. Yeah, you guys can go ahead and look at this documentation. I will be going briefly about core steps in this process, and I can explain the same. So a couple of days ago, I have made a post on LinkedIn like ACE node versus Pi node, and I was looking at this documentation. I thought like why can't I prepare some kind of documentation like this for ACE node and all other my modules also. So now let us see final look of what I achieved here. In this case, this is something I developed this documentation using Sphinx module. We can see that both are in similar, like 𝘭𝘂 here and ACE easy tools here. So kind of sidebar, stylization of the sidebar is something like this here. So in 𝘭𝘂 it is something like this. So some kind of font highlights, we can see it, some kind of links over here. So this is something home page, we can see it here. Yeah, all these details, like we can click on it, we can go to that particular links also. So yeah. So we can provide links from this page like to any page. That is very simple. I can explain briefly in the next upcoming chapters. So when it comes to the tools or modules, we can see that all the tools or modules are over here. We can go to home page, introduction, and here we can see next. We can go to the next page, previous page. These possibilities are there. I can go to 𝑒𝑟𝑖𝑔 module. So yeah, we can see that certain things I need to change a bit in tools documentation. But yeah, we can see that certain things can be properly organized here, like whatever the parameters are there. In this case, get ACE nodes. So returns, if we give returns, it will provide that one over here. So we can check it same in this case, like 𝘂𝑟𝑖𝑔 module. So let us see ACE node here. Just a minute. Yeah, we'll check it that a bit later. This is something we can achieve this way. Each module we can go and it's a the format is very clean, and no need of copy paste of this one from our Python modules to here. So Sphinx module can automate the same and provide the web page for us, so that we can integrate into our documentation. So before explaining this process Sphinx module, let me explain which is something I have developed many years ago. So that's something here, module manager or mod editor, later I have renamed. This is something which I developed in the year 2011. So let me explain what it does exactly. So this UI can do two things. One is suppose AS EasyRig, EasyBird are main tools. So eRig, eControl, eTest means testing module, math module. So I want to merge these modules into my main module. At some point of time I come across that requirement, then I developed this tool in the year 2011. So there is another thing called exporting PDF file. This is something, it extracts the same information just like Sphinx module. It just gather the function name and the definition doc string which you have written for each function. It will gather and print out only that much to particular folder location. So in this case, same path I have used it over here in Eclipse for auto completion. We can see it over here. The same modules are used here in predefined. So with this, what happens? So normally Python, some modules come from Maya. Certain modules like shuttle, daytime, these are Python modules. So let us say these are custom modules. If we want to do auto completion for this, so you can just attr divide. You can see that these functions appear here. So if we go ahead and we can see how they have written. So add prefix, we can see this is the documentation, a doc string I am saying. So add selected attr, everything comes properly. How come this is coming? I will show you quickly. This is something which I achieved by exporting that 5 PDF files. So Sphinx also, it do the same kind of stuff, like it ignore rest of the code. It will pick up only the function name and a doc string. So in this case, let me quickly run a couple of things. So let me explain with the EasyRig method what it does. So first thing is in the EasyRig, I can so a lot of functions are there. We can see it over here. Okay. The moment I run write file.ex file, update modules, import module info. So now it's importing ASRig module into this main module. So it may take a little time. So now we can see that yes, yeah, it's here. This particular 𝘗𝘺𝘵 module is imported from ASERig module. So later it will replace this one. We can go and check it over here. If we go and use so in the actual module, we can see that erig.𝘗𝘺𝘵 over here. But in this case, if we go and use, if we can go with the dot notation, we can see that easyrig.𝘗𝘺𝘵, it is converted to the main module. So this is something this module helps one way, it merges different Python modules, submodules and main tools. It will merge. This is one of the use we can have. So second thing is I don't want to export entire functionality of this erig module. I just want function name and that doc string. So this is something I have done very. Long back. So continue to write this one. So it opens that one, like now whatever that one written to that particular path, we can see this is the path here. So what it is doing exactly, wherever it finds the documentation. So this is something all these modules are written over here. Okay. So we can see that this particular documentation comes over here. So add attribute, we can see that only this much has it pick up. So add component now. So in this case, add attr, if we go and check it how much it took this much. So rest of the functionality just ignore, and add selection, different things like so in the same way, if we come what Sphinx module is doing, if we go and check it over here, we can go and see that add attribute, it pick up only this many this much information. So if we go and check it like some other functionality, we'll go and check. So in this case, let us say get AS nodes. So here we can see that also, like earlier. To go and check. Okay, we can see that it took only this much information here also in this case. So parameter, each parameter how it is. So in the Sphinx module, when it exported it took selection list, show progress. So these are the things it has collected here. So some information, if it is available here, it can print that also. What it returns, so it returns a list of AS nodes, something like. So yeah, that's simplified and it is very much useful, and the kind of documentation we get over here is very beautiful and easy to read and navigate, easy to navigate. So something like if we go and check AS node module, we can see that here, like suppose if you want to search set pose, we can quickly go and see that set pose is there. So if any information is there, we can get it the same. And we can go to navigation is very simple. Go to next module, eSpec module, specific module. We can see it over here. Everything the Sphinx module created this entire documentation within 30 seconds. Now let's jump into that process and see how it works. Okay, stay tuned. Now let us see how to install this Sphinx module and do the initial setup in the folder, in one of the folders. So in this case, I have prepared a 3-page documentation here, like a 3-page documentation. It will help to do this quick setup and follow a couple of video links also sharing in the description or in one of the my LinkedIn post. So it's a bit easy to do this install. We can go if the PIP module is already installed in our system, we can run that command pip install 𝘗𝘁𝑈 and Sphinx. This is something, since I already installed, I am not running this again. PIP install, then we can run this RTD theme. This theme is nothing but like we can see that built with Sphinx using theme provided by read the docs. If I go and click it on the read docs, so this is the website. It's providing some templates for Sphinx module, I think. So yes, this kind of template also we need to run. I think with the recent Sphinx module, it will be loaded automatically. Now we need to go and check Sphinx built version. For that we can go over here and let us see it here. We can do it two way. One is like we can just type in this path to initiate cmd.exe. It will create that one. We can go over here and check like Sphinx build version. It may take a little time, but it returns the already installed version of Sphinx. Yeah, now we can see version 5.1.1. It's already installed. So now we can go and use git bash also here. So it will be opened at Sphinx docs at this page. Now we can go and run next command to do the initial setup. For that the command will be like Sphinx quick start docs. We need to create. Docs is a folder name here. We need to run this quick start command. So it will create the setup here, like it creates the folder name with the docs and some initial files. So once it is before it is creating that one, it will ask for the project name. Like in this case, I can say ASEG tools. I can give it. Then separate source build. Yes, we need to write. Then project name is ASEG tools. Then other name I can give my name. So last one we can just ignore and enter. Project language, just enter. So what it does, it has created this docs folder with a few files. You can see that one is build folder. So when we build this one command, that will go to this particular path. So HTML folder will go into this folder. We can keep certain source files over here. So externally we can see that make.bat make files are there. So when we get into this source code, this is where these two are important. So this is the place we will copy our regular modules. Our regular whatever the modules, Python modules we develop for Maya, we can copy over in this path. So we can quickly see that internal structure, internal details of this thing. So our modules will come over here. For example, 𝘰𝘰𝘥 I am just compiling. I can give it here 𝘰𝘰𝘥. Then 3 spaces ctrl is hyper etc. We can give it. Since this project is compatible with Python 3, make sure that files are working with the tab spacing and everything working as expected. So we can provide our modules over here. So then we can go and check config file here. It was created by default. So here we are going to use certain extensions. Whatever the extensions we are going to use, we will write it over here. So the project information will be written here, and HTML theme, which I was discussing with, that will come over here. Any folders we need to exclude, we can keep it over here. So certain information is available on this path, we can go and check it there also. Then now we can go and check it our final version. So from there we can run and build our HTML module. Okay guys. Now this is the final step. So let us see like how to create a HTML page with HTML web page. In this case, we'll go and see it here in the source. So we'll go and check it in the source file. Like so these are the Python modules which I have written like earlier for Maya, like testing module, specific module, 𝘰𝘰𝘤𝘶 generic functions, 𝑒control controls module. So these Python files, 𝘰𝑠nake, 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 we can see over here all these files. So we need to create .rst files here. So how I did, we can quickly go and check it here. So after creating quick start docs, we can see that these are the folders created. So then after copying these .py files, I have run this command sphinx.api. So these individual dots means in and out folders. This command look for .py files in the same path where we run this command. So these are the commands, these are the RST files it has created after running this file. We can see over here like these are the files it's created. Now we need to go back to this docs folder, and yeah, the last step we can see it here from docs folder. If we run that command, we create the console from that same path. We can go over here and just right click, git bash, and I just copied that command here to save the time, paste it over here. So what it does is a Sphinx build. So this is the format, HTML format. Source, it will look into source folder, and HTML folder it will create in the current path. Okay, we can just run it over here. So it's going to start this Sphinx latest module. Running Sphinx latest version. So it is querying and reading the sources from .py files. We can see it here like ACE node. It's reading all the files over here. So after reading all these files, then it processes those files. Then it create a HTML base for us with the HTML folder. Now we can see HTML folder is already created and writing the files into that folder now. So once it is done, we can go into that HTML folder and see that index.html file. Once we click on that index.html file, we can see that our modules documentation is created from those modules. Whatever, like currently it's processing spec module, it's reading that source. It will take a little time. Mostly it may go up to 1 minute, 30 seconds to 1 minute. So once it is done, it is now we can see that it's writing output. So writing these HTML files by extracting information, the doc string information and function name and everything. So once everything is done, if there is any warnings, it will print out over here. Now the HTML pages are in HTML folder. Okay. Yeah, it's done. Now we'll go over here and we need to find out where the index.html is there. Now it has created each HTML file for each module, and not only that, index.html it has created over here. Now if we go and check it, yes, our final documentation is ready with everything which we had. Okay, that's cool, guys. You can go and check it like each module, like yeah, just like we checked it, it created with that whatever the documentation we have provided, everything comes over here. So it will be very easy to create web page. So no need of copying all this information from our modules. It is just 5 to 10 minutes job if we can quickly do it. So after initially we need to do this setup for the first time. Once it is done, mostly we need to update this documentation. Even updating it doesn't take much time. Yeah, that's it guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Cool. Thanks for watching.